Hello, welcome to another episode of Somewhere Between a film and TV podcast, and we are your hosts. I am Daniel Para.
And I'm Erwin Trejo.
And we have a couple episodes this week for you that we're very excited about, or we're excited about. We're going to get into it. So this episode is covering Kung Fu Panda 4, and remember, everything we do always contains full spoilers, so if you haven't seen it yet, I don't know if there's a whole lot to spoil here. There are some things in it if you're a fan of the franchise for sure, but we'll get into it. Overall, I want to start by...
Alright, get into it, yo.
Oh, by Doja Cat?
Of course.
I love that song.
What are your thoughts on Doja Cat?
That she's an incredibly talented artist, and her newest album, I think, is one of her best.
That's not what I was asking.
Despite the promotional material that she went along with it.
So, what are your thoughts on the way she looks?
Like her presentation at her concerts? We saw her a couple years ago.
Okay,
remember?
so that's not what I'm asking. Do you find her attractive?
She has a magnetic stage presence.
So yes.
She has a magnetic stage presence.
So you find other women attractive?
Who are you talking about?
Doja Cat.
Okay.
Okay. Kung Fu Panda 4.
Erwin, so getting into this, I want to ask
Dune
you...
2, your mom.
Well, what was it? To Dune until... To Dune or not to Dune? What are your thoughts on the first three Kung Fu Panda movies?
I love them.
And recent DreamWorks movies?
I love DreamWorks. Works. DreamWorks works.
Not all the time.
Name one movie.
Shrek 3.
And 4.
No, dude, I saw Shrek 4 recently. It's funny.
Yeah, but they don't compare to like the first two.
No, and nothing does really compare to those first two.
Oh, Puss in Boots, Last Wish.
That movie's amazing. Yeah. That's probably the second best Shrek related movie, I think.
I still like the first Puss in Boots movie with Humpty Dumpty.
I saw it when I was a kid when we would Redbox things. Back when that was like still a thing, yeah. And I have not seen it since. I know that it got popular because The Last Wish got popular, and people kept joking about the Zach Galifianakis egg thing, but I haven't seen anything from that movie since. I do remember liking it though. I think that DreamWorks, in terms of their material, isn't necessarily hit or miss. It's just some things are a lot stronger than some other things. The How to Train Your Dragon trilogy is one of the best animated trilogies ever made. Kung Fu Panda 1 and 2 are incredible. The third is really good, and we'll get into the fourth right now.
Oh, Rise of the Guardians?
I actually have not seen that movie, I don't think.
The one with Jack Frost and
Yeah, I don't think
Easter Bunny?
I don't think I've ever seen it. You know,
I love that movie.
My experience with that movie is I saw it playing once when I was in a Costco on a TV. They test the TVs, like how they did with the first Avatar and the first Avengers.
Oh yeah.
So I saw it in that insane smoothed out frame rate that they put those TVs in.
Yeah.
And it hurts your eyes. But getting to this, were you excited for this movie?
Kung Fu Panda 4?
Yeah.
Yes, I was excited.
Okay. So, with me, I love the first two and I really like the third. And the trailer for it was kind of whatever to me. I wasn't not excited for it, but I thought it just kind of seemed like a trailer for a Kung Fu Panda 4.
I mean, that's how we usually feel when it comes to animated trailers.
Yeah, especially Pixar.
Mm-hmm. The trailers are never... they're not the same compared to the actual movies.
They're not, and I think it's because they have to try and cut the trailers together to sell to kids. Although I will say I liked the trailer for Inside Out 2 a lot.
I love Inside Out.
I like that movie.
Why did you like it?
Why don't I love it?
Yeah.
I don't think it expands on its own concept enough, and I don't think it's emotionally as hitting as some people say that it is. The character that...
Dude, that hurts. I feel like I'm about to cry.
The character that people like that dies, whatever his name is...
Bobo?
He's super annoying.
What?
He is.
He reminds me of you.
Me?
Yeah.
Why? How?
Oh, why are you getting so defensive all of a sudden?
How?
All right, so I love the first two Kung Fu Panda movies.
You remind me of the two monkeys that are in this movie. The ones that steal his pants.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I would do that in real life. Hey, I like your pants. Yeet.
So what do you think of the first two?
I love the first one more than the second. I love both.
Yeah.
But I love the first one. I think it's just because I love the message that it has. Where it's like, you know, the secret ingredient, it's within you the entire time.
Yeah.
And I love the villain of the first one, Tai Lung. So that's why I think I was excited about them bringing him back.
Yeah.
I didn't know he had more screen time in the fourth one than I expected.
I didn't anticipate he would. He doesn't even have like that many minutes on screen, but it's still more than I thought he would have at all. But I guess let's preface by figuring out what you thought of the fourth one before I go over like my experience with it. But before we start that, did you see all of them in theaters or did you?
I didn't see the first one in theaters. I did see the second and the third one in theaters.
Okay. So for me, 2008 was kind of like a pioneer of cinema in a lot of ways. It specifically blockbusters. It had Iron Man, The Dark Knight, and then in terms of animation, it had this Kung Fu Panda. A lot of people kind of took DreamWorks has this reputation where things sometimes they're really well regarded, just almost as much as Pixar, and then other times when they're not. And that's all kind of dependent on the year and what they decide to release. For example, I think Shrek 3 was 2005, whichever year Pirates of the Caribbean 3 came out. And people didn't love that movie at all. And DreamWorks ends up having this kind of inconsistent regard about themselves. But with the release of this, I think people were... I don't remember because I was like 8 or 9 years old when this came out. But I do actually remember seeing it the night that it came out with my grandparents. And
wait, which movie?
The first Kung Fu Panda.
Oh, okay.
Saw it at the mall when it was Regal, the Lakeline Mall. And
oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
And that theater was sold out. And it was like one of those kind of like memories that's sort of ingrained into your mind because people were cheering and laughing at everything. And that really stuck with me. I love it for the same reason I love...
You're a panda. You're a panda.
Avatar The Last Airbender. I'm not.
No. Well, from the first one.
The movie?
He's just a panda.
You talking about Dustin Hoffman?
No. Tai Lung. Tai Lung said that.
Oh, I haven't seen the first two in a while. When was the last time you watched?
I think it was like 2 years ago.
Oh.
I don't know. Something like... I just love seeing the first one. I've seen the first one the most out of any of them.
I think I have too. And I'm about to admit to 9-year-old me committing piracy here. But I think we've addressed this on the show before, but my neighbor used to like print out bootlegs of DVDs.
Your neighbor?
Yeah. He passed away, so you can't get him anymore. But
yeah, you made sure that happened. Huh?
I didn't do anything. He just passed away. And I remember like watching it over and over, despite the fact that it was recorded on like someone's, not even phone, someone's like handheld camera. That's also how I saw Norbit.
Oh, it's like when you have those T pockets and everything, and you can have your phone like this.
Yeah, but you could also see someone's just head poking out.
Yes.
By the way, piracy is bad, and not only for the reason of that it's illegal, but also because everyone that commits piracy can never figure out how to record the fucking screen correctly, so it's not worth committing the crime.
It's like you only see half of the movie screen.
That's my PSA, because when I saw Order of the Phoenix, the screen was upside down. I saw that in theaters. So I saw it in theaters the day it came out. My family was vacationing in New York. And then the same day, I wanted to watch it again so bad that my dad was looking for a bootleg. You know how like they'll have those merch people that do them like they do at flea markets and stuff like that. And he bought the first one he found. Mm-hmm. Because like we'd walked out of the theater and then I was like, Dad, can we get it? Because I know that like in my head, everything bootleg is like, oh, it'll come out perfect. And then
no, me too.
Yeah, that's not the case at all.
No. Yeah, my parents would do that all the time, especially whenever we go to Mexico.
Oh yeah.
And so You see, my thing is, even as a kid, I remember like these posters look terrible, and it's because like, especially if it's a movie that's from like a franchise, they would use the same characters from the very first movie onto like the sixth, like the fourth or third one. Like just put it on there as a poster, and then like some other characters from other movies too, and just put them on
and
there.
it's like, have you ever seen
like fan made
Yeah.
posters? Yes,
They do this with toys too. Have you ever been to like El Paso or New Mexico or anywhere, Mexico too, where the flea markets have the like the packs of the toys and it's the Avengers, but then like Batman and Superman are there too.
It's pretty cool.
They're really poorly made, but you know what? I have a Wolverine figure that was like cheaply made from a flea market. I will say though, it's one of the best toys I'd ever owned in my life, and the claws were bent sideways, but
oh man,
he was really cool. And I think it's still in like an attic somewhere.
You're like mint condition.
Yeah, for like what, the knockoff. I'm glad that I think the last time I went to a flea market was a few years ago in San Antonio, and they're still making them. There, I saw like a knockoff Thanos, and he was like not the color he was supposed to be.
It's like green.
Anyway, I do also love the first two movies a lot. I think that we were talking about like movies kind of imprinting themselves on our brains growing up, because it's like it's integral whenever you're growing up as a kid to watch stuff like this, and especially when it's this well done. Same thing goes with like Pixar, Toy Story, which I was obsessed with growing up. Still think that franchise is holding its name and its reputation, despite some people's opinions on like some things about the fourth one, which I love. But
what do you think they're going to do for the fifth one?
I don't really know. And it's another one of those things where I don't really understand why they're making a fifth, but I loved the fourth enough that I'll just trust whatever the process is in which they decide to do.
I don't know if it's true, but they did say they're going to bring back Andy as the adult. Yeah. I don't know. Like, that's what I'm saying. That's what I heard. I don't know if that's true or not. I guess him probably having a kid or something, taking the toys back from the...
Why would he just steal them from the...
Hey, give it back. It's mine now. For my kid.
I hope not. The whole thing's supposed to be about like passing on, like, and moving on from the idea of why would he...
I'm not the writers. I don't know. I'm just saying. That's what I heard, like read somewhere or heard somewhere.
If it's a commentary like on nostalgia and people not able to let go of things, I think that'd be smart. But I don't know. We'll see, right? It doesn't exist yet. But I loved the first two Kung Fu Panda movies for the exact same reason I love Avatar: The Last Airbender that we talked about. The action's really creative. It's really funny. But I think the thing that makes them, the third one as well, especially deeper, are the individual scenes that address the kind of philosophies that these movies decide to discuss. I think all of those moments, it's like one of the most famous movie quotes of all time now, the one that Oogway says in the beginning of the first one, where it's I cannot remember it off the top of my head, but it's the past and the present, like that quote about that. That's why they call it the present.
It's a gift.
Yeah. I think all of the meditative state of they talk about Proverbs in the fourth one as well, although not in the way that I like, but
they were just very straightforward with it.
Yeah.
I think that's where, I mean, I guess when talking about the issues of it, I'm just gonna say how I feel about the movie.
Okay.
I think I liked it.
Yeah.
Overall, I liked it overall. There's some issues that I had with it, but one thing was that I feel it reminded me a lot. I think we talked about it too, where it's just about the show, because I've seen like some episodes of the show on Nickelodeon. I didn't know they had a Netflix one, like you said.
Yeah, the Netflix one came out recently, and I think that one is Jack Black.
Okay, and like the first half felt like a show. It just felt like, or just felt every beat of each scene was just like I'm preparing to watch the next thing to happen.
Yeah.
And it just didn't flow as well. Later in the movie, it showed more of how the other movies were. Especially was it the third one? The third one. But I didn't really like the villain
in this one.
Yes, comparable to the first two villains that I adore.
Which is crazy because it's Viola Davis of all people.
I did not sound like Viola Davis.
You didn't think
At first,
so?
I thought it was Michelle.
Oh, Michelle Yeoh?
Yeah, I don't know why.
She does do a lot of voice work. So I am going to agree with you on a lot of that. I guess to even preface sort of I really don't want to say let down, but I guess I got to admit it to myself.
Yeah,
but
I was let down.
Yeah. So as like an avid fan of, let's just say the first three, because I do also really like the third, I think there's a genuine philosophy and a genuine idea of, they talk about inner peace in this, that really elevates the material for these movies. It's why, despite how funny they are, I think the ideas behind them is why people hold them so dear. Like, the action is really well done, of course. There's multiple different instances in the first one alone, like the Tai Lung like breakout scene that is incredible, but none of that works if you don't understand not just the message that's for kids, that's about what you said about like the secret ingredient is that like you are a special person no matter who you are. I remember that the scroll that makes an appearance in this like is like a reflection of him and yourself, and I think that is really smart. It's a really well done and simple message for people to grasp and understand. But like with this one, I felt so many different things missing. I thought that was missing that makes these movies special. The action was fine. Nothing in it compares.
I did enjoy that one scene where it was a shadow.
Oh,
like it was
yeah.
all that gas and everything, and you just see like I guess like a shadow of like the villains and like, or I guess like the sidekicks and everything against Poe. That was pretty cool. I think one thing I also just loved about the franchise were the villains.
Yeah,
because
they're always really well done.
Yes, especially the third one.
Yeah,
I forgot what his name
the
was.
The one
Kai.
that's voiced by J.K. Simmons, yes. I think. Yeah,
and he was replaced by Kevin Spacey. It was during the time when Kevin Spacey's downfall of being a not good person.
Yeah. Wait, was he?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
I remember that because I was so because I mean Kevin Spacey was he was one of my favorite.
Wait, what was that movie?
I found out what he was.
What was that movie he was in that was replaced with
All the Money in the World?
I like that movie.
Yeah,
I've seen it once and I don't remember.
Was Mark Wahlberg in that movie?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to because I saw it one time.
I just know it's Christopher Plummer.
Yeah,
that was replaced. Or no, Kevin Spacey was replaced by
him. Yes. Yeah,
but the villain in the third one had some connection to Master Oogway.
Right, because
they were like best friends or something.
Yeah,
and that was great. The second in the second movie, the villain, what was it? Or like it was like a prophecy saying that he was gonna get beaten by like I guess Black and White.
Like because it's the Gary Oldman villain. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then of course the first one where it's Master Shifu
and Tai Lung. Yeah.
So you felt the emotions when those villains were fighting, like the reasons behind it.
Yeah.
And with this one, the villain just felt like I don't know. It just wasn't enough for me to like get behind the villain at least to find like some understanding. Comparable to the other villains that just happened as well, especially since this is the fourth one.
Yeah. The thing is, this villain is so one-dimensional because they don't even give her any kind of a backstory. Each of the villains beforehand have a backstory. Maybe that's to give way for Awkwafina's character in this, which the moment in the trailer, like, that they introduced that he has to have a successor and then a new character that's never been in any of these before shows up, you know how that's going to go. You know who it's going to be.
I wanted to be Tigress.
I don't understand. So, that whole thing.
Yes.
Is it because they didn't have enough money to get them back or whatever it was? But I like genuinely them being gone. I don't think they're in the third very much either.
Eventually, it came down to like just a few of them because they were turned into like stones.
Oh yeah.
And Tigress, she was in it basically throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
And it was just her.
But I love Poe, but the movies don't work as well without the moral center of all of them. It's why the first two in particular are so good. And I think that his relationship with Tigress specifically is what makes, especially the second one from my memory, like click really well.
Yes.
So removing that and just having Jack Black, who like I love, but in like is a comedic like genius, I think he doesn't have anybody to play off of in this, because Awkwafina is also just a comedian. She doesn't have like anything else. So when it's just those two and nothing else, there's really nothing to go off of.
I mean, I know they try to do it with the dads in the movie when they had their own side story.
Mm-hmm.
But when Poe met with his dads, like even then, I just didn't feel there was like, I think what you said earlier too, where it's just like the amount of connection we had, at least with Poe's actual dad, not the goose. Yeah. There was no emotional weight with, and like at least that dad, and not the goose.
The issue was they're just not that interesting. Their subplot, and then like I thought, because this movie's what 94 minutes long, I thought that the middle portion dragged so heavily. I didn't feel like anything happened, and I like was not fully invested in the Bryan Cranston and James Hong stuff. But I don't think they even did enough to establish with Bryan Cranston that I'm supposed to like love that character now. I barely remember him from the third one, and I like his relationship with his adopted dad more.
Yeah.
I get introducing both of them together, but it's kind of difficult to try and get you to care about both of them equally when the first two, James Hong's character is like so specifically in them to anchor Poe, and that's what you're supposed to care about in the first two.
Yes.
Especially since, like in the third one, I think the interesting thing that's introduced is the thing, like the commentary on adopted dads and how much your adopted father matters compared to your actual father. And that's not something I'm able to comment on because I like have no experience with that.
Same.
But I still think that like parts of that were well done. But now that I just thought like literally anything of depth was missing here. There's a moment I loved, and it was the action scene where they have to keep the restaurant from falling over.
Oh, yeah,
that I thought was really clever.
Or when the goats were saying, "Hey."
Oh yeah, at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Speaking of, we talked about this.
Goats?
No, at the very beginning, I felt like I noticed right off the bat. Did you think this looked any better or any worse than the first few of them?
The way it looks, it's probably the least my least favorite in terms of the way it looks compared to the other three.
Yeah.
I love the second one. I love the second one the way it looks more than the first one. So it'd probably be the second movie, then the first, then second, third, then first, and then because I love the way the third one looks.
Yeah.
Because
there's a lot of green, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, green and yellow. But I think it's because of the fact that they were in that spirit world most times too. So, and it really, like, I remember it popping out whenever I saw it in theaters.
I just feel like nothing is going to pop out here for me. I agree with you with what you said earlier. It felt to me like an extended episode of one of like the either Nickelodeon or Netflix shows.
Yes.
And I don't know if they were like, hey, this is enough of an idea that we should make this the next movie. But it's kind of mystifying to me that they decided to bring this franchise back when it hasn't even been around since 2016, I think.
Oh, that long?
It has been that long, yeah.
Yeah. Also, just bringing in Awkwafina as that character, or just bringing that character in general.
Who you liked or did not like in this?
I'm gonna say I didn't really care for her, which I don't want to say I disliked her.
Yeah.
It's just because how can someone go from but it's like I understand because that's how Poe was too.
Yeah. Somebody
who knew nothing about Kung Fu to the Dragon Warrior, but we didn't spend enough time with I forgot her name.
Awkwafina or
like the character she has. Shen. That I just didn't feel a connection to her.
Yeah.
I did like who was it? Actually, there's nobody in there I really
really liked.
Yeah, like anybody new. Oh, the armadillo looking one.
Oh, the one played by how do you pronounce his name? I'm sorry if I get it wrong. Ki Hui Kwan.
Yeah.
Him. Yeah.
He was great. I actually liked him.
I think it's just because he's like naturally energetic and comedic.
That's true.
That
I like
that works for him.
Also, that cave that they were in with all the villain or like the crime people.
Oh yeah, a lot of the design ideas are cool. There's a joke that I laughed at because I thought it was hilarious with the bull in the china shop thing. Just because that idea, like actually being physical, I thought was really funny.
Mm-hmm.
And it's set to like that whole action scene set to like Crazy Train, I think, but like an orchestral version, which was cool. But
I got really excited at the very, very end when the credits starts to play.
Oh, I also got excited when it was over.
No, I guess it was before. Like they were saying, oh, this character was voiced by, whoever.
Oh yeah.
But when the Furious 5 showed up again at the very end, but they didn't like say anything.
No, I think we felt the exact same way because I was like, oh my god, they're here, and then the movie ended.
Yeah. I was so upset.
I really liked the end credits set to the Britney Spears cover by Jack Black.
That was the best
Tenacious
part.
D.
Yeah.
Yeah, the best part. I don't know what
Whenever
kind of backhanded compliment it is that the best part's the credits, but...
Then right after the movie ended, I was telling you how I just want to listen to that one song over and over again.
And then we did in the car.
Yeah.
And
then you played Dua Lipa.
I did, yeah. The
Training Season.
Yeah, that's a really good song.
Yeah, highly recommend. You can go in the description below and download her new song, Training Season.
You like her promoter?
It's always promoter.
It's just like the thing about the action that I can even compliment in it, because that is an integral part of the series, is it just reminded me of like, this doesn't compare to anything in the first one. This doesn't compare to anything in the second one.
And the fact that they remind you of the first three.
Yeah.
And,
I just think it's very telling if you're riding on the coattails of your own franchise by introducing villains that don't even really speak from the prior ones, when we all really like those villains already, and all this villain does is turn into those other villains.
Yeah.
I think it's like you kind of making an accidental commentary on yourself that you don't know what to do from here. I just wish that they would have like come up with, I don't know, there's a semblance of an idea there. I felt like if they were going to do the whole passing on the torch thing, I just don't understand why they wouldn't have gotten like one of the original, like, is it Furious 5?
Furious 5?
I always want to call it Fast 5.
I was going to say the same thing too. I could see Tigress being the next dragon warrior, because especially in the third one where she felt she was thinking more logically than just going through her emotions, especially how the first one, how she was.
Yeah. And
so, especially in the second one too, when like you actually saw that full arc, and the third one, like she just became just a better overall, I don't know, character.
I also know that animated movies have been doing this specific plot kind of lately. Like, I mean, I actually really like Cars 3, but it has the same... I
still haven't seen Cars 3.
It's really good. And it has the same plot as this, essentially. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it's because everyone's like, hey, we really liked Creed, and we should, like, copy the format of that movie.
Yeah.
But it's basically what they're doing. And I didn't mind Awkwafina in this. She kind of is just asked to do the same thing that she always does in each of the animated movies she's in. I mean, I liked Raya and the Last Dragon a lot, but it's the same character, more or less.
She was in Raya and the Last Dragon?
Yeah, she's the dragon.
Oh, yeah, she was the dragon. I've seen that movie 3 or 4 times.
It's really good. Mm-hmm. That's another one of those, like, really good
Chan?
martial arts.
Oh, interesting.
What?
Stumbling. Gemma Chan?
She's an actress. She was in Crazy Rich Asians.
No. What are your thoughts on her?
She's a good actress.
Oh. In terms of looks. What?
Why are you prying on me, man? I don't know. It sucks because I want to say that I liked this overall. And to be honest with you, I found it passable. It's a totally fine, totally whatever 94-minute.
It felt
longer.
Yeah, it felt longer.
It just... I feel bad because this franchise is not that. It's more than that. And having to say this about one of the installments in this, I only wish they'd come back for another one if they actually have like more to give the characters to do. Mm-hmm. And there just wasn't a whole lot there. Like I thought thematic depth was missing. I thought that it just wasn't as creative as it regularly is. But I will say, I mean, the things that are good are that it's still occasionally funny. Some of the jokes fall super flat, but I thought there were some really good ideas. There was some good, clever ideas as well. And the action was passable, and I always loved Dustin Hoffman as Master Shifu.
I love Jack Black.
I also love Jack Black. What are your overall thoughts on Kung Fu Panda 4?
3.5 out of 5.
All right. I was going to give it the same thing.
The first 3, I would say 5 out of 5, 5 out of 5. Probably 4 out of 5 for the third one.
Yeah.
And then 3.5.
I think we have the exact same opinion on this franchise.
Oh, awesome.
I would also give it a 3.5 out of 5. And yeah, a 5 out of 5 for the first 2. Which, there was a moment in this that I was like, I want to watch the third act of the second one again. Where he's like, I just remember a lot of fire. And
it's just so gritty. And
yeah.
that's what I love. That's why I say the second one looks the best. Because the themes that they were going for in the second one, you could see it.
Yeah.
So that's why I adore the second one too.
The other thing that was missing was the entire color palette of these movies in the first place. That like they're based in a kind of watercolor background with a mixture of like this really colorful CG, and I felt like this was missing all of that. It just felt like this kind of flat CG look, and I just didn't think it looked as good. I don't know if they were trying to replicate Puss in Boots 2, but I didn't really get that out of it.
Yeah,
because that has like a kind of verve to it that I don't think that this does.
I love Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
I do too.
That movie's amazing. I want another one.
I hope that they make. I thought that this one was gonna be like that for whatever reason.
The way it looks, or just
the way it looks and just its energy too.
It felt that way whenever Poe was fighting that stingray.
Oh, at the beginning.
Yeah, in the very beginning, I thought, okay, it doesn't look. I thought it was gonna be the same way as like the other movies.
Yeah.
But when it continued on, I was kind of let down.
Yeah.
So
overall, for both of us, see it or don't, it's fine.
I think it's more of a movie you could just watch at home. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, like if you want to decide to wait to watch this until it's like on a streaming service with the other few, then go ahead and wait. But if you do decide to go, you won't feel bothered by it, I don't think. It's fine. I enjoyed my time with it.
Dune 2?
Dune to what? Well, we'll have another episode for you guys that we're very excited to talk about. We'll review multiple different things.
No.
We are your hosts. I am Daniel Parra.
And I'm Daniel Parra.
And that's Erwin Trejo. And hey guys, if you could help us out and review us 5 stars.
3.5 out of 5.
Don't do that, please. Don't do that.
Rate us based off of our reviews for the movies that we talk about.
No, what if we review like Catwoman?
5 out of 5.
That's understandable.
Just give every movie 5 out of 5.
We should start doing that.
No, I would never do that.
Yes, you would.
To Catwoman? Oh, I would
to
do
any movie.
I would do certain movies, the ones that like you love.
Like Monte Carlo starring Selena Gomez.
You understand.
And Mamma Mia.
How dare you?
People like Mamma Mia. You're one of them.
Whoa. I just love musicals.
I love musicals.
Okay.
I love good musicals. Thank you guys for
Don't cut me off. I'm not done.
Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next time.